Hey, Charles, how are you?
All right, how's it going?
Good. We're both wearing our good lucky blue colors today, so hopefully that means our tickets are filled with some winners. Last time you were here, last Wednesday, when we did Saratoga, the last Wednesday of Saratoga racing, you had some nice picks in the back half of the card. A couple nice those 10 horses in the last two races, I think, were both pretty good prices. So if you played the 10-10 double, you were probably pretty happy.
I did not get to play the 10-10 double, but I did hit a couple in that day.
Nice. And then you went off to the racetrack with your son, who so he's a dragster, huh?
Well, yeah, the off-road, buggies, I would call them, but they have off-road side-by-sides that they race up there all year long. So it was the championship. So they
Nice.
finished third overall in championship.
And you said it was the rookie year, though, right?
Rookie of the year, yeah. His team and everything was rookie of the year.
You can't ask for more than that. So they get a little bit of a break, but unfortunately, we never get a break, man. It's horse racing's year round through COVID. It doesn't matter. The horses are getting to. I think the only day we really get off what is Christmas. That's about it, right?
That is the only day.
So,
But
all
that's
right.
fine with me.
I like it too. It keeps me busy and out of trouble, which is probably the more important of the two things, staying out of trouble. Well, today we're going to do Delaware Park. But before we get cooking on Delaware Park, Charles, last night on the Players Edge podcast, we had on jockey Jerry Viegas. Hopefully, you've had a chance to catch that. If not, you can head on over to, well, you're right here right now on Horse Racing Radar TV on YouTube. Can make sure you bookmark the page, so you hit the like button, you hit the subscribe button, so that when we go live, whether it's for pick shows like this, or we have some other shows coming up, or if it's the Horse Center with either myself and Sean or Jamie and Sean, you can catch that. Tonight we'll be live again at 8:30 p.m. Eastern with just want to make sure. Here we go. See, I always have to readjust things, but today our guest at 8 p.m. Eastern will be trainer George Allen Bryant. And according to Sean, a lot of folks have asked for us to get Mr. Bryant on the show. So we'll find out why tonight at 8 o'clock. Again, the easiest way to make sure you don't miss anything that we do is to subscribe while you're here on YouTube. We're getting really close to 2,000. So if you haven't done it yet, please do it. We appreciate it. Or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at Horse Race, the number 2, and then today. So that's the best way to follow along. Should be a lot of fun tonight. I'm looking forward to it. I always look forward to our guests. You ever watch any of those shows, Charles?
Oh yeah, I try to catch as many as I can.
Yeah, they're always fun. It sometimes they take surprising twists, but for the most part, it's always a good time. All right, so today at Delaware Park, I even got your, sometimes I forget to change the names up in here, but I got your name, Charles, got your name, your picture on the Delaware Park thumbnail, so we're doing pretty good. Delaware Park race number 1 is a 6 furlong maiden race for $42,000. There's no need for us to put our pace worksheet up. So far, in today, just one quick note. Even though it's sunny there and not supposed to rain till a little bit later on the day, the track is considered good and the off the turf. So no turf races today. Anyway, back to race number 1, 6 furlongs on the main track. They've done it 105 times, 79 of which were won by speed. 39 went wire to wire. There is a strong rail bias. 2 and 3, a little bit better than par. 4 through 7, catch a penalty. 8 and out, get a bonus, but I don't think we have to worry about that with only 6 horses in the field. Take us away, Charles, for your picks today.
Well, in this first race, of course, like you said, it's the maiden. Uh, I had a hard time choosing between the 5 or the 6, but I finally leaned towards the 6, uh, mainly because of the trainer. To be honest with you, Graham Notion, he always sends them out fit 100%. First timers, he's probably a little on the light side on that percentage, but at least I know he's going to send them out fit and ready to go. The dam of this horse, the number 6, has 2 winners out of 5 starters, but one of them is a stakes horse, so that's a little bit of a benefit there, and has really solid works on them. So the number 5, which I end up picking second. The dam has 2 winners from 2 starters, and one of them is a stakes horse. Another solid rider, a solid trainer, solid workout. So I personally believe this whole race is a two-horse race
Hmm.
between those two. But I did pick the three as my third choice. Has ran well with all three times. Has some speed. The sire is a hot sire right now, Gervin. And then my fourth pick will be the number four. Uh, Bred for this distance, Dam has two winners out of three starters. One of them is a stakes horse, and once again has pretty solid workouts for this race.
All right. So for me, I accidentally transposed the 2 into 3 for me. I have Angel of Canterbury, the 5 is my top pick. I've mentioned before many times the first time starters, you want to pay attention to that last workout before they go to the track. If it's a bullet, the bullet and go, according to the research from Barry Meadows in the Skeptical Handicapper, Alpha Angle, this guy's got double bullets. So when bullet to the track. Then you got a really strong combination of Jamie Ness and Jaime Rodriguez as your jockey trainer combination. They win at 21% and in the money 73%. Classic Vinyl, the workouts were okay, but I do like the middle. There's a pair of middle August workouts in there, both at furlong, 4 furlongs, both at 49s. Good numbers there. Number 2, Lady Thor is my third choice. Was the $2 favorite in its debut, so clearly they thought something of that horse. Didn't fire, so maybe something went wrong in that race. Gets first-time Lasix today, so we'll see if that's the answer. And then finally, number 3, Fancy Grace C did run better across the board last time out. So this was in the third race. That was after a layoff, but if you rewind back to the debut, that second race was pitiful compared to the first race. So I don't know if that's a trend because it's a little bit too small of a sample size. But the fact is, you have to beware that she repeats that cycle. Race number 2 is 1 mile and 70 yards, claiming $12,500. If we take a quick look at the profile of a winner for 1 mile and 70 yards, so far they've done it 42 times, 27 were won by speed, 9 of which went wire to wire. The rail is fair. Post 2 and 3 get a little bit of a discount. 4 gets a small 4 plus. So anywhere 4 and out gets a small plus, a little bit of a bonus in there. Charles, race 2 does provide for us an opportunity to look at the pace worksheet. So let's take a look at that real fast. Looks a little bit like this the first time we break it out. The one horse in here, well, first of all, let's note that there was I don't think there was a scratch in this race. So we see that the one horse is boxed off. It is an early pace horse, meaning it likes to get to the front. It has an advantage at the 2 furlong marker, a plus advantage at the 4 furlong marker. Kind of moves back a little bit. So the horse should be able to dictate the pace from the beginning to the end. But if the 5 horse is right on its tail, does have a late pace advantage. And then if you combine the early pace and the late pace together for the 5 horse, has a absolute advantage over the rest of the field. So that's maybe the way the race shapes out and plays. You're going to go with the 1 horse.
Yes, I am. Like you said, speed. Got to kind of catch him. Also adds the blinkers today, which usually tells me, usually when they add blinkers, it's to put speed in them.
Mm-hmm.
So if they already have speed, when you add the blinkers, it's usually to make them focus a little bit better, not look around and what's going on. So I think that's why she got caught last time out. Maybe she was looking a little bit too much.
Mm-hmm.
So I do believe the blinkers will help. Running back in 11 days. And just like I said, just got caught by a couple of horses that were in this race last time.
Mm-hmm.
The number 3 is my second pick. That one did catch the 1 last time out, but closes pretty decent overall. Is a good closer. The 5 horse ran in the same race again as the other 2. Should be closing also once again. Then the 6 horse. This one's a little interesting to me because it returns to the dirt. So I think that's a little bit better for this horse here. She'll be closing. But one thing is I did note that she did not record a work since her last race, which has been a little bit of a time now. And that kind of concerns me a little bit because it's a little bit of time, but she does have talent in this group to pick up a piece of the pie.
So for me, I also like the one horse Bonfire Diva, as we mentioned in the pace worksheet. The horse does have an advantage over everybody else out of the gates. Should be the one that's on the lead after 6 furlongs and could be difficult to overcome as the lone E horse in the field. Lone speed. Everybody's looking for it. And number 6, Violet Jessup, the one that you mentioned, you think has a lot of talent. Did win its only Delaware race by 10 lengths with Daniel Centeno as the rider. The only time Daniel rode the horse. They get back together today, so maybe we'll see a repeat effort. It was only win for Violet Jessup as well. And number 2, Chalk Hill, been knocking on the door, Bob Dylan style at Delaware Park, out 6 times, no wins, 1 win, no seconds, 4 thirds, and at the distance, 4 times, 1 win, and 3 thirds, so 100% in the money at the distance. The only problem here is jockey Kevin Menendez searching for that first win, 20 races, a second, 5 thirds. 5 horse Party Monster, that one's going to be probably your favorite. Does have that late pace edge and all of that edge we talked about when you combine the early pace and the late pace combination. It's just hard to put jockey Wesley Henry any higher. Spin out 20 times, no wins, 2 seconds and a third. So maybe today he gets that has to go. But we'll see. I just, I like to see, 0 for 20 is something that's very difficult for me to put my hat on, so to speak.
Yeah, that's kind of tough.
It is a tough one for me.
Yeah.
Race 3, 5 furlongs was supposed to be on the turf. It's not on the turf. It's moved to the dirt track. They didn't have any profile of a winner for 5 furlongs on the dirt. I suspect, like many of the other short sprints at Delaware Park, it's going to favor the inside. It's going to favor speed. So that's the way I'm going to play it. The one horse is my best bet in here, but let's take a look at the way the race might shape up. You see that there was I think a very important scratch here with the 4 horse, because it was going to be your early pace horse that got the lead. Not going to be the case today. I think that opens the door up for the 1 horse, because you see the left arrow here, or the sideways mark, meaning the horse is running in a maiden race at the same level that ran at last time. Does have the top late pace figures, does have the top combination of early pace and late pace. So it's one of those horses that might get to the front, have a difficult time to catch. 6 horse is another one that got knocked out of this race, along with the 7, the first-time starter. You got a lot of horses moving up in class, hence these up arrows. I think they might be at a little bit of a disadvantage to some of the horses that ran at this level before. As I mentioned here, this is my best bet in race number 3, the 1 horse, and that is Proud Civilian. Does have the most late pace in the field, probably going to be close to the front, never off the board in 5 races, 5 times out, 3 seconds, 2 thirds. So, and those were all on dirt. So I think this is probably the best horse in here. I think if it was running on turf, that post position would have been crap, but they're on dirt. So you like the 1 as well.
Yes, very strong now since the 4 has been scratched, and plus they took it off the turf. But it looks like all these horses we're kind of wanting to try to turf for the first time, but hey, that's the way it is. Like you said, when it went to the dirt, it made me really fall in love with the 1 and after the 4 scratched. Cuts back in distance, has tactical speed, could do really kind of whatever you kind of need to do in this race. The 8 horse raced after a layoff last time out and did pretty good. So it should be ready for this race, I believe. A little fine tuning right there. Then my 3rd pick is the 2 horse. Cutting back today, has some speed. Fits well with these horses. Like you said, some of these horses are moving up in this race. Some are, first timers, all this stuff. So it's kind of, he should fit well with them. The 5 horse, the trainer has a 20% third off a layoff, which is a stat where sometimes if you really want to go into stats and try to figure something out, but has some tactical speed, can rate, in my opinion, but that'd be my 4th choice in that race.
For me, I mentioned why I like number 1, Proud Civilian, as my best bet of the day. 5 times out on the dirt track, 3 seconds and 2 thirds. So knocking on that door. Mud Island, the 8 horse, the second choice, did show some early pace in its last start. maybe today, but he faded. So maybe today he can hold on a little bit longer. Number 2, Edmund Fitzgerald. I think, what was it? Gordon Lightfoot made a song about Edmund Fitzgerald sinking in Lake Michigan, if I remember correctly.
Don't know.
Yeah, maybe maybe that's the Ella Fitzgerald. But anyway, has some early pace as well. The horse is moving up in class, consistent performer. Yeah, one of those horses that has a high floor, low ceiling. You're going to have to beat it, but it doesn't usually win. And then finally, number 3, Silver R. The horse can run back to its debut, would have a chance, but hasn't done anything close to that debut since the debut. So that really, when you look past the one, it's really hard to make a case for a lot of the other horses in here. But what we can make a case for, and it's another best bet of the day, is our good friend over at Picks with the Professor. Yesterday had a winner. Today, I forget who it was, but the under in the Phillies Marlin game, which didn't come close to breaking 7. I think they went 5 runs total. Today, our friend the Professor, and there's a link to his play of the day down here in the description on YouTube. Again, while you're here, please subscribe, please hit the bell, give us a thumbs up, retweet, all that kind of good stuff. You know the drill by now with all the social media stuff. But today, the play of the day for the Professor is the Cardinals and the Mariners in a parlay. Putting those 2 big favorites together gets you a plus line. So hopefully you can turn $100 into $106. The Professor's been on fire. In the description as well, I linked to just his YouTube channel. Used to link directly to the show for today's picks, but he's also got some college football in there. So as he's expanding the sports coverage, I thought it would be good to be able to view all of that, Charles.
Yeah, and I love that parlay part. My old saying is, why bet it straight when you can parlay it?
That's a tough call for me because I've lost I've done like 14,
parlays.
15 parlays, and I've lost so many of them where I got 4 out of 5 right and just lost that 5th one. So yeah, I'm kind of torn on that altogether. All right, back to the races. Race number 4 at Delaware Park. Race number 4 is another one of these maiden special weight races, 6 furlongs, $42,000. Because there's a lot, I think they're all 2-year-olds that are all first-time starters. So really isn't much of a reason to put together a pace worksheet on here. It's one of those races where quite literally anything could happen. As I mentioned, 6 furlongs, 105 races, 79 won by speed. So you better pick one of the fast first-time starters. There is a strong rail bias and a 2-3 inside bias as well. 4 through 7 get a little bit of a penalty. 8 and out, a little bit of a bonus. So it looks to me like you want inside speed. I don't know how we're going to necessarily decide which one of these are going to be fast out of the box, Charles. But we agreed on the same 4 somehow, some way.
Yeah, that's kind of unusual. But I think it's down to those 4. But I went with the 3. Solid work tab. Dam has 3 winners out of 3 starts and has 3 stakes winners out of those. So it's at least the mama did something pretty good on that. And the 2, solid works, solid trainer, jockey, bred to be fast. What else could I say about all that? A lot of horses kind of look like that in this race. Solid works for the 6th horse. That horse the Dam had 2 winners out of 2 starters, which is interesting, and has a hot jockey. And then the 7 horse is my 4th pick. Dam had 1 winner out of 3 starters, but that 1 winner was a stakes winner. Solid works once again. So I'm going with the horses that all look like they've worked out very consistently and try to do something there. So that's where I'm seeing this race, how it's going to land.
I like the 2-horse Classy Nancy as the top choice. Talked about it a little bit earlier in one of the previous maiden races. Bullet and Go. So the horse does show that it has that early speed potentially, and then it also fits the track bias. So speed on the inside, if that bullet workout is an indication of how the horse is going to break today. Number 3, Alva Star. Trainer Brent Brickman hits that 24% with first-time starters versus 18% overall. I chalk that up as what I call an alpha angle. So he outperforms his normal win rate. So maybe something that the trainer specializes in or for whatever reason is better at. Does have a really nice workout on August the 14th. Lost luggage, as you mentioned, the mama did produce a stakes winner, so you got to like that. And some decent workouts, not as good as the 3 other 5s workouts, but still decent. And then number 6, Peeps Day trainer Victor Carrasco Jr. does have $1.83 positive ROI with first-time starters. And race number 4 also, Charles, is the end of the early pick 4, which we put together as our hot dog pick 4s today. Let's take a look at them. You're going to go $16, 2 by 1. You're going to single that one with 4 by 4 in the back end. I'm hoping to maybe catch a price and beat that 5 or 6 in the first leg, maybe with the 2. We'll see. I know the 1 horse is my best bet, but I'm trying to, in race number 3, I'm just trying to maybe catch. So I think a lot of these horses today in these short fields, you might have a lot of favorites go off at like 6 to 5, 3 to 5. And, if you beat them, you can get a nice ticket. So that's kind of what we're hoping for in here, right?
Yep.
Can you hear me, Charles? You can't hear me, huh? All right. Hold on 1 second, folks. Hold on. You cannot hear me, Charles? It's not your fault, Charles. Hold on. Settings, audio, microphone. Can you hear me, Charles? Not good. Hold on. This is not good. Audio, microphone. Can you hear me now, Charles? No. My mic turned off. I have to turn it back on. I don't know what happened. Hold on. Can you hear me, Charles? I can't hear you. You're on mute. Unmute yourself. Can you hear me now? No, I can't hear you, boy. I don't know what's going on. Hold on. I don't know what. Hold on. Oh boy, audio, speaker. Hold on. I can hear you now. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I sure can.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I hit something and it knocked my microphone out. So I have no idea what that was all about. I have like this little like USB port box over here because I have these laptops nowadays only have 1 or 2 of them, the newer ones.
Right.
So you get these port boxes to put everything in. And if I slightly move it, so my phone was laying on top of it and it buzzed, and the buzzing from my phone knocked out the the microphone and the camera for a moment there. All right. So sorry about that interruption, folks. Technical difficulties live on air. And fortunately, we were able to square them away. So, all right. So next up is race number 5. If I remember correctly, that's where we were, Charles.
Yeah, that's where we were. Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Rewind. 1 mile, 70 yards on the turf. So far, they this one's going to be off the turf, so I would imagine that it'll probably play pretty similar to 1 mile on the dirt, where it was 60 races, 33 of which were won off the pace, 9 went wire to wire. There's an absolute outside to inside bias, and once again, In this particular case, we could take a look at the pace setup for race number 5. There was a horse in here, I think a big scratch, the 6 horse, excuse me, which had an enormous late pace advantage. You see here a lot of these horses have the sidebar, the 3 horse dropping. I like to see that in the mating races. 4 horses going up. 5 horse gets this NC, run a bunch of times and never been close. The 8 is another dropper, and we get our first entrance today of a left arrow horse. It's a closer, but its early pace figures suggest it'll compete for the lead and still has a lot of late punch. So sometimes that can give a horse an advantage. All right, Charles. So in race number 5, this is your long shot. Tell us why, and I don't have the 4 horse, why the 4 horse is going to upset my box it up.
Well, with the scratch, the 6, like you just finished saying, the 6 was a solid pick in this race. And I was choosing the 4 originally in a second, but now I believe the race still sets it up that he could close. You did say it was moving up in class a little bit, so there you're going to get a price because of that. And it's first time Lasix, which I do like. The Dam has 5 winners out of 7 starters, so kind of bred for the distance also. So I believe closing, I should be closing well, and if everything goes right, why they're moving it up is because they think the horse is doing better, then I think that's what they're going to get. The 8 horse is my second pick in here. I think the horse is bred well for all this. High percentage jockey. Also should be closing in this race. The 2 horse is my third pick. Another first time Lasix. But the only thing I have a little bit of problem on is the low percentage trainer and jockey on this horse. But I think it could be still have enough talent there to, pick up piece of the pie. And same thing with the 3, my final pick in this race. Drops in class, has a high percentage trainer, and I think it just last time got a little tired, which it was its only time out racing. So, I might see improvement there because especially the trainer wise, getting it ready and moving it on up.
So this is my box it up, and that's where we take 4 horses. We put them together in a $1 exacta box, 50-cent trifecta box, 10-cent superfecta box. It's also the first race of the late pick 4, and we'll have our hot prime rib pick 4s coming up. I have the 3 horse, the Giving Spirit. This one does have a pretty good edge in the early pace at 4 furlongs. It should get the right fractions, probably has a pretty good shot to take them from beginning to end. Number 8, Katie Got Lucky. Well, I'd rather be lucky than good sometimes, but this one is a class dropper from Colonial Downs, which I think Colonial to Delaware Park is probably a track drop as well. Did run for $60,000 in the maiden special weight last time out, so probably facing easier here. Did run a Z pattern in that debut. So a Z pattern, when you're looking at the pace figures, people define it differently. This is how I define it. If the early pace, let's say, is 80, the mid pace drops to say 70, and then the late pace picks back up again. So the horse came out strong, had a little bit of a lull, or maybe just a patient riding by the jockey, and then picked it up at the end. So perhaps Katie got lucky, but there's no winner so far, 8 and out. But that scratch does move that horse into the 7 spot. So the post position not as bad. Number 2, Social Lady gets a coveted inside 3 draw. That last race was UGLY, ugly. But maybe the Lasix the first time around today is an additional benefit for the horse. I think it's a 50-50 between that and the one. Miss Christie does ride the rail, which wins at a high rate, and last time out was well bet in its debut. So perhaps the folks who know the horse thought something well of it. We'll see if it can live up to that good betting status today, and hopefully help me get a nice trifecta. Plus, this is one of the few races on this card where I feel like there's some you might not catch favorite. It might not go as close to form as many of the others might. Race 6 is this one is a 6 furlongs. It's an allowance $8,000 for a purse of $25,000. 6 furlongs, as we mentioned so far, a little more than 100 races. About 80 of them were won by horses that were in the first 3 at the first call, 39 of which went wire to wire. There is a strong inside bias in here, and we have a did I mess up your best bet? No, that was your long shot. So we have an interesting race here. We have a battle of Charles's best bet versus my long shot. We look at the pace set up here. The 5 horse did scratch out out here today. The 1 and the 4. So your best bet, my long shot in here. They should be competing for the lead when that gate opens, for sure. Your 4 horse does have a little bit of an edge over the 1 at the 4 furlong marker. The 2 and the 3 ought to be sitting right behind the 1 and the 4. So you might see some form of 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way around the track. The 7 horse does have the most late pace in the group. I just don't know that he'll be close enough in a 6 furlong race if it were longer to benefit from that little bit of giddy up and go that it has at the end. Charles, tell me why in our battle of long shot versus best bet, I'm going to be the loser and you're going to be the winner.
Well, like you said, the 4 horse has got some speed there. Dilly Dilly Philly. Wasn't that a Bud Light commercial? Dilly Dilly.
I think Dilly Dilly. Yeah, I mean one of those really dumb ones that they did.
I
I really like when they did the, way back in the day when they had the likes of Rodney Dangerfield and all the athletes. And
oh yeah, from Miller Lite, right?
Those were, I think, still to this day, those were the best commercials ever made.
Mm-hmm. Really good.
My favorite one was "One more pin, Rodney, just one pin."
I think that was even in a movie too. So yeah, Dilly Dilly Philly, the 4 has the speed. I believe has the best speed overall. Cuts back in the distance. Solid workouts for this horse. They're very consistent. High percentage trainer and jockey. I just see that this horse is going to put him away around the turn for home, I believe. The 3 horse has a little speed as my second choice. Might have enough speed just to sit off the pace and try to hang on for something. Like you said, the 7 horse is a closer, cutting back today, so it should fit well with these, with the speed up front, closing. And then my final pick in the race is the 6 horse. I think this horse is better on dirt anyway, and has speed, might hang on for a piece of the pie. He might be another pace horse that could sit close enough while I believe that my 4 would be running your 1 into the ground and leaving them behind. That's how I see it.
Could be. I have the 1 Snackster as my long shot in here. If you look at the internals last time, the horse was better across the board from start to the middle to the end of the race, missing just by a head, a little bit. Does get that 27% winning rail today, and to me, that's the difference. Number 4, the silly or Dilly Dilly Philly. If she's ready, as you mentioned, this horse could run away with this race coming off of a little bit of a break. Bullet workout on August the 24th. The last workout says, yes, indeed, Dilly Dilly Philly will be ready. But the horse has run at Delaware Park 3 times and has only secured 1/3. So maybe the horse doesn't like. We've heard horses for the courses. Maybe this is an anti-horse for the course. Number 3, Awesome View. This one is an all or nothing horse at Delaware Park. It's made a trip to the track 5 times, won 3 of them, ran off the board in the other 2. Much like the 1 horse, the internals say that this horse was better from gate to wire last time. But the thing that concerns me a little bit about that, the horse cut a half of a furlong off, and its fractions were a bit slower. So it's kind of conflicting data there. And then number 6, our Avery Lynn, my final choice in race number 6. Never off the board in 5 races at Delaware Park. 3 wins, 2 seconds in the money. 10 out of 12 races at the distance. 2 wins, 6 seconds and 2/3. Chased really fast fractions last time out. That was on grass. I don't think with what's in this race today, you're going to see similar type fractions that the horse will have to chase today. So I think this is probably the most competitive race on the card today. And as such, I do think there's an opportunity. I don't really think there's going to be a strong favorite. There might be the 4 horse. But I think when people look at the Delaware Park record, so I think because there won't be such a strong favorite, it's probably the best one to box up. Race 7, this one was supposed to be 1 mile on the turf. It's not on the turf, but it's claiming $16,000, non-winners of 2 lifetime. If we take a look at the profile of a 1 mile dirt winner, which is completely different than the 1 mile turf winner, 60 races, 33 of which were won from off the pace. So that's when the track flips from a speed bias to a off the pace bias. Only 9 of those horses went wire to wire. And unlike most of the other dirt races where there is a clear inside bias at 1 mile, there's an absolute outside bias. So the farther away you get from the rail, the better your win rate goes. Here we have again, page up here. There was supposed to be a lot of horses in this race that aren't in this race, kind of really screwing up the race picture altogether. The one horse which had really, I think, the most advantage in the race got knocked out. Almost all of the also eligibles got knocked out except for the 8. The 8 horse I also thought would be a pretty strong competitor in here. So it doesn't leave a whole lot of the top definitive horses in this spot. So I think that opens this race up to an upset in here. Maybe you see it the same way in your box it up, Charles. Again, 4 horses, $1 exacta box, 50-cent trifecta box, 10-cent superfecta box. Why did you pick this race as your box it up? And then tell us a little bit about your horses.
Well, I guess some of the reasons that you just kind of mentioned through all that, there was a lot of scratches in this race, and a lot of the scratches were much better horse draw. So that leaves this race, in my opinion, the most wide open race there is. So that's why I believe this is the box race. So you could get a price, like you also said before on your box. Then the favorite is, even if the favorite's, 3-1, 4-1, you're still going to get a nice box in that with everything else price wise. So that's why in this race, I like the 7 horse right now. Drops in class, has a high percentage trainer and jockey. And plus, this trainer and jockey is really a hot combo of late. And this horse could close. In this the same race here, my second pick is the 5 horse. He drops in class. He has some speed. He could take it wire to wire, and that's possible now with all the scratches out. So, and he should be a decent price also, at least 8-1 in my opinion. And then my third pick is the 6 horse, which last race was pretty good. Must do the same, but he is moving up in class. But if he runs the same race, a little bit the same style, he could be a force to reckon with. And he's going to be a price horse, at least 20-1 or maybe 15-1. But that's also why another reason I thought of a box in this race. That if he shows up and moves up in class, he could do some damage. And then the 3 horses, my final pick, gets a better jock switch today and also could close in this race.
All right. So that's your box it up. You see mine was a little bit earlier in race number 5. Just a point of note, race 1 is in the books. The 6 horse classic vinyl did take the win. The 3 horse came in second, and then the 5 came in third, with the 4 closing it out. So Charles getting the superfecta. Both of us still alive in our hot dog pick 4s. We should have probably, you went 2. I went a little bit deeper, kind of hoping to catch a price. As I mentioned at the top, I didn't really think we would, but we're going to have to try to find some races in here somewhere. Always concerns me here, as we have in race number 7, Charles, when I have a horse as a top pick that either you or Terry or Tom or some of the others that we work with that make picks, I got to pick as a top horse and nobody else has it. I'm going to start off with in race number 7 with number 4, Grand Sir. Last time out, it just missed winning despite having all sorts of problems in the race. 1 for 1 on dirt. So the only time the horse did run on a dirt track, it did win. Today's dropping in class. Number 3, and I might not have that feeling if the horse was on turf today. Number 3, Sims was really horse, showed a lot of improvement early on last time out. Again, another one of these horses that is an extremely consistent performer. Like Tom says, win? Probably not. In the money, I think so. I mean, very consistent performer, not a whole lot of difference between the low numbers and the high numbers. So you're going to get what you're going to get, like Dennis Green. It is who we think it is. Your top pick is my third pick, number 7, Lindros. Moves down in class, gets the jockey upgrade today to Michael Sanchez. When teamed up with trainer Cathal Lynch, that duo wins at an astounding 34%, which is a great number. Number 6, Mo Wine, Please. Yeah, this one won the maiden claiming last time out at $5,000. I'm not a big fan, especially when you're coming off the lowest rung of the maiden claiming, then in that next race, unless the horse runs the top last race speed figure, which the 6 did. But if you look at that number, man, it was a crazy pop higher compared to anything else that horse has done so far in its career. If Mo Wine, Please can repeat its last race, might be an easy winner here. I just think it makes more sense to expect a ton of regression out of the 6 horse today. For those of you back in the 6, you probably hope that I'm absolutely wrong. But I've seen way too many times where horses make that big leap forward just to kind of come back in the next spot. Finally, race number 8, another one of these races that's kind of probably wide open. This one's maiden claiming for $12,500. Again, it is 1 mile on the main track. 60 times they've done it. A little more than half of the time a speed an off the pace horse won. Only 9 of which went wire to wire. Again, the farther you are from the outside, the better in terms of post position. And the last chance to look at our pace worksheet today, you see most of these horses are all bunched. I think you could just see a clump of horses running around the track. And then at the end, maybe one breaks free. The 5 horse is a left arrow horse, though, does have a plus advantage, a double plus advantage at 2 furlongs and 4 furlongs. So maybe this one gets to the front and is trailed by a pack of a bunch of horses. And then the 6 horse with that really strong late kick tries to run him down at the wire. That's how I see the race playing out. Charles, how do you see the race playing out?
Well, like you said, yeah, it's kind of an interesting race here. The 5, I do have the 5 because of the speed, runs better on dirt, cuts back in distance. So I'm going to use all those combinations to propel him to the front and be the winner of this race. But my second pick is the 2. Hot trainer in the last 14 days, has tactical speed. Fits well with these horses also. Kind of like it's in the same class and does well with them. And then my third pick is the 4. Has shown some early speed in the past. Could figure it all out because the last time ran pretty decent overall. And then my final pick is the 6. High percentage jockey. Last race was good. Fits well here with these. Could be, like you said, kind of ones that could just sit off and just wait for everything to fall apart at the front end and pick up the pieces and move on. So that's a scary horse right there. I definitely believe.
Yeah, I hope it's a scary horse. I have Mercury 10, the 6 horse, is my top pick. One of those horses that last time out, the internal showed that the horse improved pretty much from the beginning of the end to the end of the race. Has almost a plus late pace advantage, but I don't think it's going to be sitting all that far behind the 5 horse. Track it, run its race, and then run by it at the end. 2 horse, I'm your pappy. So I mentioned earlier that the 5 horse has all that early pace advantage. So why do I take the 2 over the 5? This one does have some early pace as well, does tend to fade late. Trainer Pedro Nazario has had 3 horses that switched barns to him so far this year, and he seems to do well in that second race, winning 2 of those 3. So gets a little bit of changes in the horses in race 1, and they show up in race 2. Black Limo does have all that early pace advantage for sure. Probably the horse that's on the lead. Tends to really struggle at the end of the race as those legs get a little bit wobbly. The distance, I think, is too much. I think this horse should be running maybe 5.5 to 6 furlongs. I think that's the right try. Although the last time he did run at this maiden claiming level, did finish second by just a little bit.
Yep.
But I just can't take a horse that's going to be 9-5 morning line favorite. Probably your post time favorite. Has had 18 chances to win. Hasn't won, right? Otherwise, wouldn't be running in the maiden claiming ranks. Has only 2 seconds and a third. too many chances to win to really take low odds on it. It probably gets to the lead and crushes me today. But anyway, and then number 3, Diamante De Oro is my final choice on this hump day. Been knocking on Delaware Park's door. The horse has run at Delaware Park 4 times, has a second and 3/3, so 100% in the money at Delaware Park. And along with being the last race of the day, it's also our prime rib pick 4. And I'm always kind of scared about doing prime rib pick 4s at a day like today at Delaware Park, because with short fields, it could go chalky, chalky, chalky. So you could invest $96 only to get like $18.50 back. But the way you structured your ticket with your best bet as a single in race number 6, and then basically all and almost all of the horses in race number 5, I mean, if you catch a couple of prices in any of those legs where you beat heavy favorites, it could add up to a big ticket. And is that what your thinking was?
Yeah, and like I said originally on the race 7, I think it could. That's why I like the box, because I think there's going to be a price. And just finished talking about this race right now. How even my 4th pick, which is the 6th, which is I believe your first. You know, it could win this race just as easy as the others. And you know, with the 5, like you said, once again, weak legs at the end of the race, and at a short price could mean some prices that could come in. So that's why I went all, hoping for a big price in all those races, and even in the 5th race, even trying to get a decent price.
Mm-hmm. So your whole ticket lives and dies on the 4.
Yeah.
For me, so you have a huge bet on the 4 to win, so to speak. I went 3 by 3 by 4 by 4 by 3 by 4 traditional pick 4 for me in the prime rib state. Just even in that race number 7, I still felt like I would like to have one more horse in there, but unfortunately I couldn't get that horse in. I had to pick one race where I felt like the first 3 horses were the best 3 for me. That was race number 7. Again, here are our full picks for the day. If race number 1 is already in the books, as we mentioned. Race 1 went 6-3-5. Race number 2 is about 16 minutes to post. Right now in race number 2, it looks like the 2 horse is the favorite. Morning line was 3-1. Now it's 2-1. That horse, we'll see how that plays out in this particular spot. And then looking at the rest of the races, your long shots in race number 5. My long shot's going to square up against your best bet in race number 6. Again, real quick, our box it ups. Mine is in race number 5. Charles is going to put 4 horses together for exacta trifecta superfecta box in race number 7. Our prime rib pick 4s look like this. And that's the last 4 races of the day. I know for those who are joining us late, you might have missed the hot dog pick 4. So maybe you might want to do a little bit of cheaper pick 3 in races 2, 3, and 4. They look exactly like this. And then Charles, if you're going to bet over at Finger Lakes today, so a little bit of daytime horse racing, sitting in your desk, kind of bored with your job, looking to cash in, then one of the places you might want to go and maybe make a little bit of extra money today is to Guaranteed Tip Sheet. Again, a link in the description on Facebook, Twitter. There's a ton of them over at horseracingtoday.net. You'll see that Finger Lakes is our free track of the day. Race number 1, Pascal, the 5 horse at 4-1, looks like it could provide bettors a little bit of value at the New York track. All right, that wraps it up for round number 2 for you, Charles. Tomorrow, Tom and I will be back. We'll give Charles a break for the next couple of weeks on Thursdays, but then he's going to join us every Thursday and Wednesday going forward. Charles, Thomas, and I will try the impossible task of tackling Kentucky Downs. And then Friday, Tom and I will be back to do our normal routine of Foreign Fridays, where we'll do Doncaster in England and the Curragh in Ireland. Saturday, Eddie P. and Chris P. and Eddie C. will return for their spot plays. No idea what track they're going to do, so we'll be just as surprised as you are. And then tomorrow night for the Players Edge podcast at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, we'll have somebody on from Kentucky Downs where we'll try to, again, go a little bit crazy in that crazy track. Have you ever played Kentucky Downs, or is that one you kind of avoid because it is so insane?
No, I love it. I just flat out love it. I love playing tries there, exactas. Every once in a while, I'll play a pick 4 or pick 5, but I usually try to play exactas and tries. because you get a lot of price there, a lot of prices, and you gotta just watch how it's trending, the speed or not, because it's hills, downhill, and big wide turns and all that kind of stuff. So you got to put all that in account, and you got to really pay attention to that track.
Well, when Tom and I were last Thursday, we talked about horizontal bets probably being a better option than the vertical bets from race to race. One thing Tom did point out, though, is that last year, every pick five paid something like $42,000 or more. This year, the first pick five, I think, was $39,000. So, I mean, when you're looking at those kind of numbers, it's kind of worth trying to put together a vertical bet. But I wouldn't get too crazy spending money, because when you start, 14 horse fields, you put 10 horses in a field, that ticket can get fat fast, and you lose a bunch of them. You might be down $39,000 before you win one.
Well, that's why I try to say most of the time it's the exactas and tries I play there. Pick fours, pick threes, and even pick fives are very rare for me to play there.
You know what I think it is? I think it's a dime superfecta track. Last week on Thursday, I had two of my races where my top four picks came in some order of first, second, and third. And the dime superfecta in one, I think, paid $300 for a dime. So if you took the top four horses, it'd be a $120. That's it, right?
Yep.
And then in the last race of the day, the 6 horse I had in my picks, I think it was my third or fourth pick, hit the board at 55-1. And that dime superfecta paid over $400. So if you did 4 horses for a dime superfecta, that's $1.20. Let's say there's 10 races, $12. You hit one of them, you had a great day. If it pays off like the other ones, yeah,
that's why I like that track. And plus, it's kind of fun to watch and try to handicap, because you got to put all those other angles in, running uphill and all that stuff,
For sure.
That makes it very interesting.
All right. Any final thoughts before we get up and out of here today, Charles?
No, not really. I'm just going to start focusing on all the Breeders' Cup, when you're in type of races.
Yes,
So
Charles will be doing those. And who's going to be the co-host with you?
Jim Bogart.
And Jim Bogart does what?
He does the media. He's a handicapper. He does the media for Arizona Downs in Arizona, of course. And he also owns racehorses. So he's been in the business for a while. He'll be an excellent addition
to the horseracingtoday.net team. Looking forward to that. Again, of course, no matter what you're doing on this hump day, we hope, well, first of all, if you like what you saw, thumbs up, subscribe, follow us on all our social media and on YouTube. But no matter what you do today, we hope that you have a blessed day. Make the most of every second, because every second does count, especially when you're out of them, right? You'll look back.
That's right.
I've read that people, when there was a lady who worked with folks in hospice for like 30 years, and she started interviewing them like at the end of life questions. And she asked them, like, what's your biggest regret? The number one biggest regret people had was not things that they did do. It was things that they didn't do. So if there's something gnawing on you that you feel like you want to do it so you don't regret it at the end. But otherwise, everything that you do today, whether it be at Finger Lakes, Delaware Park, or wherever it is you're betting today, we hope that it ends up in the
winner's circle.
All right, Charles. Have a fantastic Wednesday, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. See ya.